We'll see if we have a pedestal seed. I personally have not had a single pedestal seed yet with this new logic. I had plenty of seeds where, you get that one item at the very end, just kind of hiding. But enough about that. We have our match starting right now.
Yeah, off we go. That is maybe my favorite Uncle Tex of them all. Only getting $50 in our first chest, and now we're gonna see what Uncle has for us.
Yeah, we'll see if he gives us that vanilla sword, or if we're gonna see a little bit of that variation, given the mode itself.
Yeah, personally, I think Bombs and Cane of Burna Escape are probably the hardest to do from, a playing standpoint.
Very much agree. Oh, and I got my wish. There's that fire rod.
Okay. I'm gonna have you call more things, and if you get more than 3 right, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to burn you at the stake at the end of this.
Well, hopefully, my predictions, save me from a fiery death. But I'm gonna think that we'll probably find a sword and escape as well. And we'll go with the power glove. So those are my 3 predictions.
All right. Sounds pretty good. And nhammen picking up a bomb here from that one green guard he killed immediately next to the Uncle chest. So he's already at a tiny bit of an advantage, even though he's, a second behind walking-wise.
Right. Definitely picking up those bombs is something a lot of new runners don't realize is very important. That way you can open up the back of escape without having to come back for it. No name may be opting to just wait to a location with higher enemy density, but Ham won't have to worry about trying to farm for that bomb anywhere else now.
Yeah, Ham just kind of forgetting about that key there. Thankfully remembers it immediately and goes back.
So this first segment will be very simple. So like we said, the fire rod, even though it takes a while to burn these enemies, does one-shot all of them, including the ball and chain guard outside of Zelda's cell. So really it's going to come down to just, your movement. Are you going to have that pixel perfect movement? And which enemies are you going to farm the bomb off of?
Yeah, that fire rod on that ball and chain guy, it's almost as good as getting an ice rod. Ooh, and the boots. That is a pleasure.
Yeah, no, finding the boots that early it just makes overworld travel so much easier and just makes the seed go a lot quicker as well. So I'm sure they're very happy to see that.
Yeah, that
opting to do pot strats instead of using the fire rod, maybe trying to hold on some of that magic to maybe farm some more bombs later on.
Yeah, he probably doesn't want to run out of magic, and 2 pots kill that guard, so it's not too slow either. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was rip boots at pedestal.
Yeah, indeed. I was just going to mention that what's maybe also important to note is that in a situation like this where you start the seed with a limited resource, like magic in their case, there was a little hotfix, I will call it, to version 29, where now you're not able to hardlock yourself anymore, because potentially you were able to run out of magic before getting to that last drat that you have to kill to get the key. But now, if you save and quit at any point during escape, you will respawn at the appropriate location with some of your resources refilled.
Yeah, definitely. It's easy to forget about that one rat with the key. There are a couple pots in the sewer that you can actually get, a few just small magic pickups. Not going to be necessary for No Name, because on the way over to the sewer, he actually picked up a bomb and a full magic upgrade. So he's going to have no issue at all, killing that rat with, over half a bar of magic left.
Yeah, he's absolutely fine. He's got $100 for the bottle vendor as well. The only downside is that he only has one bomb so far. There's still plenty of opportunities left for him to get some more bombs.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll actually opt to go up to the tree pole near Lumberjack Cave just to see if he, gets lucky and gets, some more bomb drops.
Yeah, I think going for the tree pole early on is probably a good idea. You also get a bush crab right next to it, or a hoarder as they're called. So you get like 2 random chances of having, an 8 bomb drop or a lot of money or something like that. Oh yeah, and as Ak is mentioning in chat, they are able to bonk open Pack of Escape if they wanted to. I have no name, forgot about it, used his bomb. I totally forgot about it as well.
Yeah, it's really easy to forget about that because, actually, how early do you often, or how often do you actually get boots that early? You never get them.
Yeah, Ham immediately replacing his 1 bomb though, so good for him.
All right, No Name, did get that sub 6-minute escape, I believe. Going to be checking Bonk Rock, something, location, like I say, you don't get to check very often early on because Boots ends up being one of those items that just kind of elude you for the majority of the seed, but just gets a heart piece for that. Or sorry, heart container.
We also got a quick map check from I Have No Name, and it looked like a red pendant at Hera and crystals at Eastern and Desert. Oh, look at that!
Speaking of lucky bomb pull or tree pulls, yeah, that 8 drop right there. He's not going to have to worry about going over to the vendor to buy, more bombs for Kakariko.
Yeah, that's so convenient for him. He can really use the money for the bottle vendor. Even gets a little bit of magic from the bush crab there.
Alright, it does look like Aghanim at this point is not required as there's only a heart container on the lumberjack ledge. But, we don't have a lot of progression right now. Nothing that actually suggests that they should go to one location over another. So, possible that we may need that Aghanim for Dark World access, but we should know pretty shortly once we get through Kakariko kind of where the seed is going to be going.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's going to be a big cache of items here to find. It looks like Ham skipping out on Lost Woods and Lumberjack check. Just head into Kakariko immediately.
Yeah, kind of an interesting play. You get those 2 free items in the Sphere 1 location according to the logic. Bub does pick up a very early mirror in the well.
Yeah, that's a very nice find. Interesting. Early mirror, nothing else really for Dark World access of any kind. Well,
and then,
so much for that.
So now we're kind of beginning to see this seed take shape. We got the power glove and the mirror. I think we'll be seeing a lantern very soon to force players up to Death Mountain.
Yeah, we could definitely see a lamp. That's true. We could also be seeing. Well, we definitely need a moon pearl first, and then a hammer or another glove upgrade. Have magic in the back here. I'm using the mirror erase glitch to clean up that basement a little bit.
That's actually something I've never seen before in Blindsight. So it's kind of new to see all those blocks just completely missing.
Yeah, it looks interesting. Alright, now No Name gonna be picking up his first part of the Dark World care package.
A lot of people are mentioning Jet Seed in chat. One thing about V29 that's very common that they like to front load you with a lot of progression items and then kind of bottleneck you into finding that one ice rod bow or whatever to complete, your last crystal dungeon. So it may look like a jet seed right now, but really we will have no idea of telling until much later on.
Yeah, that is sadly very true. There have been a lot of front-loaded seeds that ended up being, one weird item being hidden somewhere way in the back, or strange locations in pendant dungeons or whatever. Well, there's a flute.
Yeah, and talk about cutting down on overworld travel. Got the flute, the boots. Even if this ends up not being a jet seed, should be a pretty fast one though.
Yeah, they definitely have an easy way of getting around everywhere now. That shouldn't be a problem anymore. I was gonna mention earlier, if they find a bottle somewhere here in Kakariko, that would be very convenient because they're also able to immediately get the library item if they need it or want it. But the flute is probably even better than the bottle.
Yeah, with the flute, you can literally check that bottle kit at any point since the it'll bring you right next to his house itself. So not terribly important that they don't have a bottle yet. It's something they can easily get later on.
Yeah, that is very true. Okay, I'm deciding to also skip out on the racing game here, and the library as well, I believe.
And you know what? These may just be, calculated gambles by Ham. I'm not actually too familiar with the skill level between the two of them, but if you go into a race thinking that, the other player's a little bit stronger than you, you may be thinking, okay, I'm going to try to skip these one or two locations and just put myself ahead, just purely off these gambles. And we do find the ice rod at the dam. Kind of surprising to see that, 12 minutes into the seed.
I have two things to say to that. One, calling TR it's a pendant dungeon for sure. And two, that's totally unrealistic, man. Shouldn't that ice rod have frozen that water there?
Yeah, that doesn't make too much sense with how, physics work. I'm going to have to file a complaint with Nintendo for, unrealistic expectations in this 20-year-old game.
Yeah, this game is so unrealistic.
But yeah, Ice Rod early on, I could definitely see a pendant TR. Ham taking an unfortunate death to all those enemies outside Moldorm Cave, but with the flute, we'll be able to get over there really fast.
Yeah, it's thankfully not a huge costly death thanks to the flute, as you mentioned. And well, there's our first sword. Not quite what you called earlier, but still pretty early on. And as I say that, we also grab a hammer.
Yeah, pretty, I didn't know this was Hype Cave. I thought it was in Dark World. Well, it looks like we're gonna have a little bit of sync for different reasons. Ham did not get the Moldorm Cave, so he doesn't have the sword to dash through all these enemies in these bushes. But No Name just makes his way all the way over to Ice Rock Cave without any worries.
Ham, unfortunately, also doesn't have any bombs, which he will now not realize because he just died again, even more unfortunately. But I hope he doesn't try to go back there again without bombs.
Yeah, there is a bomb vendor right at the north side of Lake Hyla, so it's one that if you don't play Zelda a lot, then it's easy to forget about it. No Name getting the Jesus walk with those boots instead of having to do the fake flippers, which will definitely speed up, getting through this area.
Oh, and he's immediately going to go up to Zora. That's an interesting choice, but yeah, I can see why he would try that.
It is possible that he just may not know how to do the fake flippers from the hobo, because it requires kind of a precise setup too, and just deciding to go to this location with a lot more items available.
Yeah, I'm just thinking I would have checked Lake Hylia Island at least before I ran down there. But
Oh yeah, that's definitely true.
I'm sure I Have No Name has this under control, so we'll have to see what Zora gives him here. Just a piece of art, unfortunately. Not quite the biggest scam ever.
Typical, typical Zora. Ham over in Eastern, definitely a good location to go to early on, especially if you don't really have a sense of what you need to do, since Eastern is available right at the start without any items. Well, at least most of the chests in Eastern are available without the items.
Yeah, really only one location you can check if you're comfortable with the dark room. The thing really is, it's kind of hurting Ham that he skipped out on that mini Moldon cave there. I know he died before it, and then he flew to 8 and tried to do Ice Rock Cave. But, you know, the sword isn't even so much the problem, but the hammer for I Have No Name means as soon as he has the Moon Pearl, he goes to the Dark World.
I think he also just skipped the right side chest in Eastern, the one that you usually use the hookshot to get to. So hopefully there ends up, nothing being there that could hinder his progress through the seed.
Mm-hmm.
No Name going up to Death Mountain. Yeah, definitely a great play to do so, given the flute, fire rod, and the mirror. He has everything he needs to complete Hera, despite it being a pendant dungeon. I think at this point it's a good idea to just go ahead and clear it out, because the seed is definitely telling you to get up there.
Yeah, it certainly can't hurt. There's also Quake on top of Spectacle Rock. We'll have to see what's inside here.
So a lot of these like late game items showing up early. You get your ice rod, now your Quake. Kind of a reverse of what I would expect here.
Oh, and Turtle Rock turned out to be a Pyramid Fairy Crystal instead of a pendant, so very surprising to me. Tam now finding out about Quake as well. He can also get into Hera if he wants. He is lacking no weapon except for the Fire Rod still.
This is where the lack of the hammer is gonna hurt him too, because even if he's not able to do Hera, he's not able to get over to Eastern Death Mountain at the same time, which most likely has some more items there.
Oh, and he dashes off, unfortunately, so he'll have to do the whole mirroring again.
Yeah, you got to be a little careful there. I try to just walk there to make sure I'm not going to fall off by accident or even get hit by the dead rock.
Yeah, very true.
No Name missing the bomb jump, but that's all right, because he did change the holes in the floor to make sure he wasn't going to get knocked all the way down to the bottom.
And it looks like Ham is indeed following him right into the Tower of Hera. The problem for Ham is going to be he has no way of hurting Trolldorm.
Right, and we just saw that the big chest item was just an arrow upgrade too, so we definitely know that at this point they don't have access to any possible weapon that could be inside Tower of Hera.
Yeah, and I think Ham realizes that Tower of Hera, without any kind of weapon except for the Fire Rod, that'll eventually run out of magic, or you won't be able to kill the boss. Probably not a great thing to do right now, so let's see where he decides to go now.
Definitely had the right idea of where he needs to go. Just
yeah,
needs
he's
get that
definitely thinking about it.
Alright, he is in Kakariko now, so maybe... Yeah, there we go. Now he's gonna go hit his bombs.
Nice. And I have no name here. Killing Trolldorm, no problem at all. Unfortunately, grabs the small key. I'm not sure if we found both items yet. I don't think we have, right?
I don't believe so either. I didn't see what was in the first left side ground. Okay, maybe they did then.
Yeah, must have been down in the basement or something. Alright, so he's going back to Ice Rod Cave, Ham that is, which is an okay start. Hopefully he'll make it through these guys. Oh
He's gotta
boy.
be very careful. Those,
Oh.
yeah, there it is. Those crabs hurt so much early on. Okay, we did get confirmation that both items were found in Hera, so yeah, no need to waste your time, going into that basement.
There's some more money for I Have No Name, which is not an unwelcome thing right now. He pretty much spent everything he had on Zora.
I'm committing to getting into the ice rod. Really hope that afterwards he goes over to Moldorm Cave, which I think he will. He may just be, thinking, I just want to get this cave out of the way, despite, all this trouble I'm running into.
Yeah, now that he has it open already, he finally makes it in. Meanwhile...
Moon Pearl.
Yep.
So we got our Dark World access now.
How disappointed do you think Ham is right now that he picked up the big 20 finally out of that Ice Rod Cave?
I mean, that's probably the best 20 rupees he's ever found, after how much work he had to do to get to it. But, okay, he's heading over to Moldorm Cave now. That's good. Exactly what he needs to do. He's going to get his hammer and his sword. No Name going to be probably heading over to, I don't know. We'll see if he goes, the Hype Cave route or if he goes to Kakariko first.
Well, he got his flute out, so... Oh,
Yeah,
he's
it looks
turning
like
in
he's going to do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought he was going to turn in the mushroom right away, but he pressed right another time.
Can't go that way. No Name. Got to take the slow route around to that portal.
Not quite. There, Ham picking up his first sword and his hammer in a second. Some rage slashes there on the poor guy. It's not his fault, Ham.
Alright, so heading into the Dark World now, Village Outcast area. No Name does have a lot of options for him right now. He is able to complete Skull Woods having the sword and fire rod, as well as Thieves Town, despite not having a lot of HP. But he does have that half magic, which would make completing Mothula a lot simpler than just with the fighter sword by itself.
Mm-hmm. And on Ham's side here, we see he made it right back to Death Mountain. Gets a beautiful spin speed on the stairs here, very nice. Gonna probably be heading right back into Hera.
Yeah, spin speed is definitely one of those glitches that you want to be able to learn, as soon as you start getting into Randomizer, because it really helps a lot with just travel on Death Mountain.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also just really fun when you pull it off, I think.
Yeah, there's definitely some satisfaction with doing a glitch in any game. Whether it look cool or just, being able to know that you can do it.
Can't help but go wee every time I pull it off. That's how much I like that glitch.
No Name not finding anything yet in the first part of Skull Woods is at 3 hearts. Has to be really careful because Dark World is terrifying at low HP with Green Tunic. And if he took a death here, he would be sent back all the way to your normal saving quit locations.
Yeah, dying in the Dark World like that is absolutely awful. And oh, speaking about awful, those wall masters.
Tell you, they
Yeah.
like to grab you. Oh, okay. Now taking a death here is fine. As long as you're in the dungeon, you'll just spawn back in the dungeon.
Oh, and there's a full magic. He's definitely gonna kill those guys now. Just get rid of them.
Now you just gotta watch for that troll master again. It's a little bit weird with oh, he gets grabbed
Oh,
again.
man.
No.
Oh, no, man. You know, I complain about this every time I see them, but why are they called wall masters if they come from the ceiling?
I don't know. I believe in at least Ocarina of Time, they showed up on the walls itself. It's been a long time, but as far as this game goes, no clue.
I know that the little hands...
No name.
What is he doing? I know that the wall masters in the first Zelda game on the NES came out from the wall.
Oh no. It's okay, we understand your frustration, no name.
Oh, man, this is... especially, I can tell you 100% for sure when we ask him later in the post-game interview, he'll tell us that this has never happened to him before.
Definitely a little bit of a difficult room to get through. There's a lot of precision with the timing on it with the statue and the Gibdos, especially if you're doing MMG strats. Does get a flipper for his efforts, though.
Yeah, that's a very nice find. Meanwhile, Ham unfortunately takes a death in Hera, gets sent back to the entrance, and decides to not finish it up. It's only a pendant dungeon.
And this time he's not even taking any chances. He's gonna wait for the wall master to come down before grabbing that small key.
Alright, and Ham is making his way to the right side of Death Mountain now, going down Spiral Cave. And will hopefully eventually also be picking up his Dark World axes here.
No name opting to check this chest here first, maybe hoping to find maybe like a master sword or just something to kind of give him a little bit more survivability. But just 10 arrows, not going to help very much.
He takes another intentional death for a little bit of a health refill, I guess, and it also warps him back to the entrance, so maybe that was his plan all along.
Yeah, it does give him that one extra heart, which, you know, could make a huge difference in this fight. Ham taking a death, falling down from the spiral cave. It's definitely a hard room to jump into at low HP with all the mini mold worms around you. I hope that does not deter him from going back because he does not have his moon pearl or I guess the mushroom. We'll see if that, we don't know yet if that leads to anything.
Yeah, true. It could also be a big deal. Alright, No Name made it to Mothula with a full life and full magic, it looks like. Or at least almost full.
Yeah, this is exactly how you want to be coming into this fight. You know, full magic. Had a pretty good start too with the spin slash as well.
Yeah, Mothula sticking to the spikes here a little bit, making it annoying. Yeah, the trick is to not get impatient, but that's a lot easier said than done with everything that's happening in here.
Yeah, I know I've just been wanting to shoot him as much as I can, but you know, ended up running out of magic, unfortunately. Ooh, he's gotta be careful. He has only one heart and gets it. One heart left.
Very nice. Looks like Ham is checking out the pedestal.
Interesting choice. Doesn't have the book yet. So he can't actually see what's on the pedestal itself, but he does have that knowledge that the pedestal does exist at this point.
Yes, he knows that it is actually in the game, physically. Picking up the 20 bucks you left behind earlier. Hopefully he also remembers the thieves drop down here. I don't think it had anything important.
Oh yeah, I did forget that he'd skipped Skullwoods at the start, so... I mean, he has the flute. He's probably looking for that, that moon pearl, thinking it was here as opposed to it being on Death Mountain. So the longer it takes for him to get back up there, it's just going to keep giving No Name an advantage.
Yeah, he also never ended up checking the library or the race game, so maybe that's on his mind as well before going back up to Death Mountain.
No Name making his Dark World tour, going to be checking Graveyard Ledge as well as King's Tomb, since he does have the mirror to get over to King's Tomb without needing the mitts. Two locations you don't want to have to put off, and coming right out of Skullwoods, being in that area, it's a good idea just to knock him out right now.
Yeah, these are always awkward to route in, so if you can do it as early as these guys can with that early mirror and Dark World access, it's, as you say, always a good idea to just get it out of the way.
No Name leaving behind the blue boomerang. Clearly, he doesn't know that the blue boomerang is the superior of the two boomerangs.
Yes, it absolutely is.
Funny enough, both players are actually in the same exact area, although in very different situations.
Yeah, there have been a couple of weird, I don't know, pseudo quasi syncs, I guess, where they've been sort of in the same area game wise, but definitely not equipment wise.
Looks like instead of going to Village of Outcasts, he's actually going to go ahead and commit to doing Catfish early on. I I actually really like this routing a lot because Catfish is just something you don't want to ever do in any kind of seed. Maybe it being a tournament race, he's thinking like, okay, I should do these like random locations I never go to. And we can see why he put off the mushroom, turning the mushroom until now, just being able to route that in at the same time as Catfish and Zora.
Yeah, I think that kind of works together for him. I bet he wishes he could have left Zora behind as well, since he Jesus walked up there earlier. But this is still pretty good, and routing wise, it works out perfectly. I think it's a little bit of both. Like the mushroom probably made him route this way, but that's also why he didn't turn it in earlier. Because he figured, all right, I can probably just walk over there, mirror back, and then also check the Quakefish.
Yeah, that's thinking a little bit too far ahead for me. I'm just gonna flute over there and turn it in. No Name over here playing 4D chess and getting some excellent routing in. Looks like he's not gonna do the Zora. Actually, no, he did do the Jesus walk earlier. Forgot that he did. We saw that there was only just a heart container or a heart piece on the Zora's ledge. But there is still Hobo as well as the Lake Hyla item that he has access to.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what's on there because, those locations are locations like the floating island. That's something you like to forget about.
Ham is back in the eastern area. I believe he's already picked up all the items here. So we'll see kind of what he's planning to do with his routing. I don't know, maybe did he skip the back of? Oh, I guess he did. He went to eastern and then grabbed these 3 items here.
Well, not exactly great items. I think there was a blue and a green rupee, and I didn't quite catch the third item.
Yeah, I didn't see it. My stream actually froze for like a few seconds, so I didn't see that last item. Don't think it was anything important though. Oh, it must have been a
Okay.
bottle.
Oh, looks like a
And we
bottle
get a
for a
bottle in
bottle.
return.
He's not happy about that.
No name doing the Thieves Town play now. Another crystal dungeon that's available in the Dark World almost immediately. Picks up a Master Sword for his effort, so definitely on our way to that, getting that Temper Sword.
Yeah, gets rewarded immediately, finally getting not even just the power upgrade, but also the size upgrade of the sword makes things a lot less threatening in the Dark World, I'd say.
Yeah, that's one thing people actually don't really talk about. Yeah, sure, like the power of the sword is obviously noticeable, but just the range being a little bit bigger too just makes it a little bit easier to hit enemies without having to get too close to them.
Yeah, a fighter sword blind fight, for example, is definitely no fun. Master sword, doable.
All right, so we're 36 minutes in. You know, we have a pretty good idea of where the seed's going. You know, after Thieves Town, you know, we're really looking for mitts at this point to give us access to pretty much every dungeon from here on out. Desert, Ice Palace, Misery Mire, and Turtle Rock. Unless we happen to find a book which would allow us to get into Desert a little bit earlier, but mitts is really the big item right here that we're trying to find.
Yeah, mitts is definitely a very big one. The bow. And Kano Samaria probably as well for Turtle Rock and Mire.
And being trolled by the cabbages here on Death Mountain. Definitely not that fun to deal with, just given just the random patterns they like to take while you're trying to climb up.
Yeah, sometimes these guys just they I don't know, they're homing cabbages. They come down that mountain and they just hit you in the face repeatedly.
And with only 6 hearts too, you don't have a lot of room to work with, so you kind of just have to hope for the best. Hammond goes too fast and goes into the cave right next to the ladder there to the top of Death Mountain. Something I've done quite often. You know, you got that super speed. It's a little bit hard to control yourself.
Yeah, the spin speed can make it really awkward up here, and it makes you jump off those ledges immediately as well, because, you know, usually when you push up against the ledge, you have a little grace period of that half second or second before you actually jump off.
Yeah, and then, you know, if you end up having the Pegasus boots, depending on the location that you're facing, you can just press A to jump off immediately, and since you're kind of in this bug dash state, the game thinks that you've pressed A as soon as you hit the ledge, causing you to just go off it immediately.
Which is why I mean, still happens to me sometimes, is what I'm trying to say. I'm just jumping off random ledges after going, whee!
Oh, Hammond has to be a little careful here. Down to 1 heart. He does have a potion. I wonder if it would be viable to just use that right now to avoid taking death from, you know, everything right here. I know, jump right into the Tektite too.
How did he make it past that? Oh my god. Please, no. Why? Yeah, exactly. No, don't go back out there.
Use the hammer. Use the hammer. Or use the mirror.
That's a shop. Okay, maybe he's bought. No, that's not a shop. That's a shop in the Dark World, I think, on the right side.
It is. Oh, and there's 2 hearts in that room there too. So all he has to do is, okay, he's gonna go Fire Rod strats. Meanwhile, No Name getting a good blind fight, came down pretty low in health, but managed to clutch it out.
Yeah, I managed to do it with the hammer, apparently. So, okay, now No Name gonna be finishing up his Village of Outcasts check. And, well, as we were saying, we need mitts, we need bow, we need a cane to really, start opening this up fully. He can get to a few places.
Yeah, we still have a good amount of places we can still go into. One place I'm sure they don't want to have to go into are Pendant Swamp, which is actually available right now with the hammer and the mirror and the flippers.
Oh man, I didn't even think of that because it's so awful. Oh man, imagine that.
I know, especially hook shot. It's not a play that you're thinking of like, oh, I'm gonna go to Swamp House without a Pendant Swamp without a hook shot. Oh, come on, Hammond, you can do this. We're all rooting for you, buddy.
Yeah, he's making it so
use that
clutch.
fire rod.
Yeah, very nice choice. Maybe another heart drop or something.
That means he'll get
Unfortunately
his Moon Pearl. Missed it a little bit. Oh, don't get hit by the bomb, please. Okay, good.
Yeah, oh my god, okay.
No Name doing a good job with just knocking out all these locations altogether. Soon enough, he's not going to have any more overworld left. And look, we got a book there.
Oh, hey, speaking of the devil, that means desert is pretty much open completely for us now.
Mm-hmm. No worries about it being, boots locked. Got your, fire rod for the end of it. Plus, he has a flute to get over there right away as well. And he could actually check Bombo's tablet on the way there too. So literally, the seed is just laying everything out for him in a very linear fashion.
Yeah, No Name's routing has really been paying off. He finished all that North Dark World stuff earlier, and now he's going through all the, South Shore Dark World locations from Village of Outcasts, and it's just really working out for him. There's a bow.
Yeah, talk about just opening up dungeons now. We got the bow for Eastern and the book for Desert. That has to be a pretty good feeling for him.
And even though it's a pendant, we could also possibly dip into pod now, since it's, safe for some dark rooms, fully accessible to him. And just as you said, No Name, gonna go check that tablet and then probably jump down, check Agina's cave.
Tablet, typical, not giving us anything important, but it's always good to just have that out of the way, knowing that, that there isn't anything hiding there later on.
Yeah, just having that information is worth a lot more than those 5 rupees, sadly, but still.
Agnes Cave also just having some rupees available, not really needed at this point, but like I said, just one of those locations you just won't have to be thinking about later on.
Alright, and we are going there. Going to be seeing a praying Link. The only time you see this sprite in the whole game, I believe.
Then we're gonna get that entry into Desert. Gonna be pretty fast clear. You got the half magic and fire rod for land moles, which is gonna make a really quick kill. You have the boots to get around pretty fast. Don't have to worry about what's on the torch for later. So it's definitely nice having a those Light World Dungeons bean crystals, because you don't have to commit a lot of time to clearing them in its entirety. You just get in there, get those items, and be out, within a few minutes.
Yep. Nhammen making his way through Skull Woods now. Falls into the trap room. Well, that's one way to get in here. Not the most, efficient way to route through here, but he's at least safe now, even if he should take a death. Does that still count as a commentator's curse if he died before I finished my sentence?
I don't think so. That's, I think we're safe on that end.
Okay, good.
All right. Did we see what was on the ledge? I know he walked past it, but I didn't quite see what was on it.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch that either, unfortunately. Maybe our tracker or someone in chat saw.
Oh, just an arrow upgrade. Thank you, chat. Keeping us honest.
Wonderful, thank you. Looks like Ham trying for a bomb jump here over to the big chest. I think that's a little too low still. Oh no.
Yeah, kind of a tricky bomb jump there. I know I like to use the little pixels on the left side of that room there to line up, but everyone has their own different preference for it.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, No Name almost one-cycling the landmark. Oh no.
Well, despite not having the magic for Lamola, still gets that kill off. Yeah, he did already get all the items in Desert, so really not much progression. We do have...
No.
Eastern could be done right now, but without the lamp, it's not technically in logic to complete. Oh, he didn't go to the right side, it looks like. Kind of a interesting routing decision. But
Oh yeah.
I mean, I guess, if you get that big key right away, it's a good idea to just go ahead and clear out Lamola. See if they give you that one item along with the item being the big chest, just to cut down on having to come back in.
True. It's not really a huge time loss, if any at all. And with the mirror in hand, you can just, get right back to the exit anyway. Well, that's unfortunate. Ham having a little trouble with this bomb jump here. Keeps on powering on though, so needs to be careful now. If he gets it, or if he doesn't get it, he'll take another death.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely persevering, through all these deaths. So, props to him. At this point, I don't know if I'd be still wanting to play this game any longer, but clearly Ham has a lot more determination than I do.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. I will be definitely pretty tilted. And that on top of the tournament nerves. Oh, well, he just locked himself in. No, he didn't.
I think he already knew that, but yeah, dashing into him with the boots causes you to talk to him. And yeah, you don't need technically the lamp to complete Eastern. No Name specifically actually knows all the dark rooms, and he mentioned in his bio that he doesn't want the lamp to show up, because he sees it more as a like a handicap, having having that light cone. So I have no worries that he'll be able to finish this without the lamp. But the main thing is that the logic doesn't require you to do any of these dark rooms without it. So it makes us think, like, where could the lamp be? It could be in Swamp Palace at this point. It could be in Pod. Anywhere but Eastern.
Yeah, I mean, it could still be in Eastern, but it would have to be for the dark rooms, obviously.
You know what? Yeah, we did not see that right chest get checked by Ham when he came in, so I think that's the one location that it could be in if it actually is there. Kind of a...
I don't think Ham ever went through any dark rooms. I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't remember for sure.
He's been kind of like going into dungeons and leaving them early, so the one chest I know he skipped was the one that No Name just picked up, which was just the map it looked like.
Oh yeah, right. Alright, No Name making short work of these guys here with his sword beams.
I'm going back into the Dark World. Probably going to be hitting up Thieves Town next, I believe. So yeah, as you can see, we have all the items that are not behind a dark room check, meaning lamp can't be in here, but Eastern has one of the easiest dark rooms to deal with. The one No Name is in right now is really easy to maneuver. The second one has a torch that you can light with the fire rod should you need it. So that's not going to deter a lot of the better runners from completing a dungeon. And it's a good skill to have because you're not having to force yourself to find that lamp before you complete these dungeons.
Looks like Ham found the single arrow, probably not what he was hoping for. He was also pretty angry at the Skullwood's big chest, just giving him a small key after he finally made that bomb jump earlier. Which, to his credit, I would have given up long ago.
Yeah, I mean, these single chests I put a lot of work into to try to grab ends up just not being anything at all. I mean, you got the Skullwood's big chest, the Ice Rod Cave as well. It's like No Name proving his prowess with the second dark room in Eastern. A little bit harder to do with the Igor positioning, but it's no problem for him.
Yep, makes it up the stairs.
Ham making his descent over into Thieves Town. He does have those 2 potions as well. Hopefully he remembers to use them just in case he falls a little bit down. A little bit difficult seed, just not having a blue tunic just yet. Having just to solely rely on finding heart pieces and heart containers. So I really hope a blue tunic does show up for them pretty shortly, just to make things a little bit simpler for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Ham has finally picked up at least a Master Sword, so he's gonna be profiting from that extra damage and range as well, hopefully making his trip a little safer than it was before.
Looks like No Name was opting to do the Ganon's Tower Armo strats. And he clutches it out pretty fast for just some rupees.
Yeah, so his 5th crystal already, but nothing in there that really gets him anywhere else.
Yeah, at this point, it's like those myths are just locking you to all these other required dungeons. So really, it's now a gamble on, do you go to Eastern or do you go to Pod? Pod, I think, is the more logical choice, not having the hook shot, but both of them do have quite a lot of items available for them. Oh, nope. He's gonna go up to Ether Tablet instead.
That's an interesting choice. I mean, I can kind of see it because you kind of just, you don't want to leave a single item location behind, because what if it had been available for all this time and you just skipped it? But at the same time, I know it's a pendant, but Pod isn't so horrible. Or at least check. I was gonna say at least check in the swamp, but they don't have the hook shot, so they can't even get the green pendant.
Right. I know probably on a lot of people's minds are just this nocturious feeling that, overworld locations are way more valuable in this logic. As you can see there, you're picking up the bombos, so we don't know just yet if that is necessary, but overworld locations, having a better chance of having progression. A lot of runners kind of get into that mindset and want to avoid these pendant dungeons as long as possible.
Yeah, going for the spike cave now. He can get through it with all the blue goo that he has. No invulnerability item. Okay.
Just a heart piece. So he was probably thinking, okay, I can get 2 items out of the way here, as opposed to just going all the way up for only the Ether Tablet.
Mm-hmm. So he's taking this Dark World portal. I'm wondering where he plans on going. Is he gonna go in the swamp?
I think he's actually going up the pyramid.
Oh,
Maybe
that makes sense.
factor in that pyramid check and then go over to Palace of Darkness afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that will make sense. I was just wondering why he didn't flute to 5 if he plans on going to Pod, but obviously he wants to check the pyramid first.
Right, definitely a lot faster to flute to 5 than just start from that swamp area portal. But yeah, like I said, just those overworld locations, a lot of people are thinking probably, I gotta get them out of the way, because what if the myths were on pyramid instead of, the 6 chests that I just did in Palace of Darkness?
Yeah. Very true. So No Name making his way to Pod, gonna be paying Kiki before he gets extorted. And
He's definitely got the money for it.
Yeah, he certainly does. Ham took an unfortunate death in the Hellway, named for, it not being a very nice place to be, as we saw.
Yeah, I know doing no major glitches runs, that's a scary part of Thieves Town for myself. Rando can be like hit or miss depending on what items you get, but here you don't really have any items to help you get through there. Hook shot, cape, Canis Smart or a Burna would help, but at this point you just have to run through and hope you don't get hit too many times.
Yeah, and he makes it through, but on 1 heart, and with these cricket grasshopper or whatever thingies, they are the worst.
Like crickets or grasshoppers, they're actually imps, I believe. But I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't either. They're just... Oh man, that's unfortunate. They're just crickets to me.
Yeah, I'm getting hit by them. Even if he had like additional heart, it wouldn't have mattered because they do like 4 hearts of damage, 4 or 3 hearts of damage with green tunic. So you're gonna be hurting quite a bit.
It's just ridiculous.
No Name making a quick work through Palace of Darkness, going to that right side since he does have the bow to get through the mimic.
Nice dash through that spike and conveyor belt room there. Doesn't get hit once.
So really, it's a question of what's going to show up in here. You know, we're going to find those myths, which I'm sure he'll just immediately leave. But you know, what if he finds like shovel or something that leads you to, you know, what, a series of quests to find those myths? Kind of interesting to see what's going to happen. Or you know, what if he finds myths and just leaves, and there's ends up being like King of Samaria here as well? It's a lot of different ways to approach pendant dungeons when you have a few items for go mode. So I'm kind of curious to see what No Name decides to do.
Yeah, it's always really a tough decision or a tough call to make to say, all right, you know, I got an item that immediately opens up something that is technically worth more for me, and I immediately go and leave, or to go by the philosophy of, okay, I started this dungeon, I can finish it, so I'm gonna finish it. Well, a whole bunch of keys and a red rupee so far in pod. No, it's only an arrow upgrade. No name showing us the dark maze here, making, you know, as you were saying, short work of it.
He did miss the room south of all the turtles too, which, you know, could definitely have an item within logic. But at this point, with what we've seen, I really think that Swamp Palace has that lamp and, you know, possibly something else too.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not very much left in here that he can do other than, you know, kill Helmasaur and see if he drops anything. I haven't been counting items, to be frank, but...
Yeah, we got our friend the mouse cursor on the screen too to provide a little bit of assistance.
Yeah, he's just, you know, pointing interesting things out to you.
Like, look at that pixel right there he's pointing at. Such fine work.
Beautiful craftsmanship.
So, fun fact, if you actually put your own cursor on the stream too, then you have two cursors at the same time. Just a hot tip for everyone watching this race.
You've just blown my mind.
No Name, he's gonna go ahead and complete, you know, Helmasaur King. This is a little bit of a more tricky dark room to do, due to just having to kill the turtles, but he does have the fire rod to light up the lamp in there to make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, at least he has that. The turtle room in the dark, it's doable, but it's so annoying. You never quite have any chance to track where all those turtles are walking to.
Fortunately, it's not a situation you run into very often, but, you know, like No Name said, you know, dark rooms are his specialty, and I'm really kind of glad to be able to see, you know, that, you know, he's he's able to do all these just like he told us. Ham is just getting the being given the works right now in Thieves Town. I
Yeah, really.
kept track how many times he died, but he's really committed to finishing this.
Yeah, he definitely does not want to give up on this. I don't blame him. He's not having a whole lot of luck, but we'll have to see. He was really far along already. He just had to bring the maiden back, so he's definitely improving his pace through here. You know, with Master Sword only and no silver arrows, Helmasaur King can be quite annoying.
Yeah, he does a lot of damage to you, and he can just he likes to charge up you against the wall sometimes. Not a problem from No Name, as he clears this out pretty fast using just the normal arrows.
I like how he opened his mouth when No Name shot the last arrow, and then nothing happened, and he just closed it again and died.
I go, what do I do? This isn't supposed to happen.
Giving us a little derp face before he vanishes.
So Pod ends up being a bust, not having like anything for progression whatsoever. So that leaves Swamp Palace at this point.
Yeah, I'm really not sure what else he could be doing. I'm wondering, oh, he's checking Hobo now. Okay.
Oh, good. We have not seen that yet. And there we go. We see like Kyla 2 just having the 10 bombs. Kind of a hard, part to route. This is the part of every seed where it's like, what's the best place to go to with what I have? Because none of the places are like really that great for you. Mostly like pendant dungeons or just out of the way locations. Pod without Lantern not being in logic versus Swamp without Hookshot. Really hard decision to make.
Yeah, it's really not something you want to do at all. I'm also kind of wondering now that he already has 2 pendants, and by the looks of it, he has to go into the 3rd pendant dungeon. Is he just gonna go and, check out the pedestal?
Yeah, I mean, Mitts on the pedestal is a very real possibility at this point if the hookshot ends up being in Swamp Palace. Swamp is also a green pendant too, so Shoshlock could also have those mitts. So the pedestal stream is currently a thing, but we'll see very shortly what shows up in the Swamp Palace.
Yeah, keep in mind for 2 of the 3 crystal dungeons that are left, he also needs that can of Samaria first before he can really finish them, at least.
I think making the most progress right now in Thieves Town, heading over to get blind from the cell. All he has to do is pretty much get blind up there to the boss room. He won't have to worry about going through all these different areas again.
Yeah, that will make getting back to where he was a lot easier than before. No, he doesn't have to go over and check the big chest again either, so this should be alright, hopefully. The conveyor belt room really probably the most dangerous part right now.
As long as he doesn't get hit by that fireball, then okay, cool.
Nice.
All right, that's got to be a relief for him, not having to do all of this over and over again.
Oh god, please go into that room. Okay, thank you.
Scared me a bit there, Ham. Does have potions left. I would 100% want to see one of them being used now.
Yeah.
A little too late for that though.
He seemingly forgot about them because he's had plenty of opportunities where it would be good to use them, but Well, as you were just mentioning, at least he has blind in his room now, so he can just get back to there, no problemo. Probably have more hearts left over by the time he gets there.
Yeah, definitely starting with 5 hearts versus just 2. A little bit less stressful of a fight to deal with. The only bad thing is now that blind's on the top, you can't get those quick 3 slashes for the phase 1.
Mm-hmm.
No name. Going over to left side swamp. This is the last. These are the last 2 chests that he could possibly find hookshot in to continue, further in through swamp. And after that, I really don't know what other locations are there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think myself.
I mean, Lamb technically could be here. Well, actually, no, it wouldn't lead to anything though at this point. Mitts could be the item here that unlocks just the rest of the seed. Yeah, it's really just between Mitts and Hookshot for what's going to show up in those last 2 chests.
Yeah, it's got to be one of those, or a stupid fetch quest item that leads to one of those.
Imagine pulling out either the powder or the shovel. Kind of a hard seed to route, but at least they're bottlenecked into going to that one location instead of doing another pendant dungeon.
Yeah, and as our tracker today, RJ, is pointing out in chat, Bumper Cave just opened up with that cave find, so that's another location. I'm not sure if anyone has checked it yet.
I think No Name did run by it when he was doing his northern checks after Skull Woods. I don't think there was anything important though, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think I vaguely remember that. I'd be surprised. I definitely remember him being in Graveyard Ledge and mirroring back to the Light World, so it'd be surprising if he didn't also check the Bumper Cave Ledge.
All right, we are down to the final chest that can probably have something, at least that we can remember. So what's it going to be? Everyone, get your bets in now. Is it going to be powder? Is it going to be the hook shot? Is it going to be shovel, or is it going to be Titan Mitts? Or the big key? You're right.
Or the big key. Oh man, I'm voting for shovel.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, finally. The very last possible chest. Imagine that.
That just completely opens up the seed for everyone.
Oh, Nham. He drank one of his potions. He was in phase 3. I'm not sure how many hits he was in there, but he almost had it.
Alright, I like this. No Name opting to go up the Dark Death Mountain first. Definitely probably the best play he can do. You get the knowledge of what that Turtle Rock Medallion is. You get the items outside despite not having full access to Hookshot Cave. But I think just the knowledge of what Turtle Rock Medallion is 100% worth the trip up here.
Yeah, definitely. But I have a question for you. A no-name situation right now. You're going over to East Death Mountain, and you're going to go to the Dark World. Assume we're finding Cane of Samaria over there. Do you start out in Turtle Rock and finish that up, assuming you can open it? Or do you save that for last and flute over to Mire and finish that?
I do Turtle Rock immediately.
Okay.
Turtle Rock has a lot of items in there, and go mode Turtle Rock is not really that much different from just full clear Turtle Rock. So if I can find Cane of Samaria, Hookshot, and maybe another medallion for it doesn't even matter, we don't have ether.
Yep, so much for that.
But just being able to go mode both Mire and Ice Palace, I will take doing Turtle Rock first just for that opportunity.
Ooh, and since I'm just seeing No Name skip that, I hope the hookshot isn't in the first chest in Hookshot Cave that you can bonk to.
May just be doing just this cave, the super running cave first, but it does get silvers. So if this ends up being a Master Sword Ganon at the end of it all, at least you'll have silvers for that final phase.
Mm-hmm. Very nice find. Nothing that really gets him anywhere right now, but definitely not something anyone's going to complain about. All right, and as you were saying, he's back in here now. Wanted to check the Super Bunny Cave first. And of course, it's nothing.
So definitely still a good call to go up there first. At least for the knowledge that ether is required for Turtle Rock. You have these two medallions. Some people may opt to be like, okay, well, got a 66% chance that I can get in. And if they find what other items are required for go mode, they could just opt to skip additional chests. Do have Quake on Meyer, so we could see him going into Meyer right now, I think. Actually, no, it depends. He does need the red cane still. Picked up the wrong cane, unfortunately. So, do you go to Ice Palace first, see if you can find the red cane there, or do you gamble on Meyer since you're already right here?
I will probably go into Meyer just because I'm not a massive fan. Oh, that is an interesting placement.
I've never personally seen that before. I thought he was going to fall right down to the bottom.
I thought he was going to mirror bonk, but apparently he made it pixel perfect right next to that ledge.
No Name just flaunting his knowledge of the game at us.
Alright, he's gonna get his hearts refilled, pick up some bombs maybe, but definitely some blue potions.
I know, they have so many rupees that, if you just have a little bit of worry about, going into these later dungeons with just the Master Sword and Green Tunic, just take, the 20 seconds or so it takes to go to the witch and just pick up those extra potions as a safety measure. All right, No Name opting to go into Ice Palace. Definitely a little bit of a safer play because you can clear it. You still have to do 100% clear to find that red. I mean, we're still looking for a red cane, hook shot, and ether, which could all technically be in here, possibly.
There is 3 items to find here, yeah, that's very true.
But definitely a little bit safer because you're not going to have to hope to find an item in there to complete the dungeon like you would for Meyer.
Yeah, I'm thinking No Name is probably very practiced at the bomb jumps all throughout Ice Palace, not just the bomb jump, but all of them. I'd personally be very, afraid of doing this just because I'm not good at the bomb jumps, and without hookshot, this is really annoying to get through.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, you just want to do the Ice Palace bomb jump, to skip the switches, but if you're playing a situation where you have to do the hookshot room one, or even like the one with the freezers, those ones are definitely a little bit more tricky to do, and I'm pretty sure No Name is practiced enough to be able to do all those with relative ease.
No Man gets bopped here by the jelly as he drops down.
It's the cool Stalfos double kill. Despite how simple it is to do, it'll never, cease to impress me with how it looks. Bomber Cave is out of the question right now. No Name opted to do a lot of early overworld locations, leading, to the point that where the mitts were was, I believe, the last possible chest that he could find. So we do at least know that the remainder of the progression is just hiding in these final crystal dungeons.
Yep.
Actually, no, we do have the blacksmith and purple chest available now, technically, with the mitts being found. So there's a few more locations that were opened up with the mitts, but they're not going to think about that right now. They're just going to be doing crystal dungeons. Nhammen heading over to Desert Palace. How's the book now? A little bit of an easier dungeon to get through than the other ones that he was attempting. So, if it's required, might as well just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, definitely not a bad choice by him. Should give him a little less trouble than what he's had to endure, as you said.
So here's a little bit of an interesting thing. No Name opting to do the bomb jump in here without Kane at Samaria. Actually a little bit slower if you're going to be full clearing the dungeon, because instead of being able to run through that room he just jumped down, he has to go all the way down and come back up to get to the other side. So a lot of people, you're just kind of, it's just a thing that you do without thinking about it. But in this kind of situation, it would be a little bit faster to just skip the bomb jump and go through normally.
Yeah, if you plan to full clear it anyway, doing the bomb jump is nice, but as you said, it gives you that additional, oh, I have to walk up through these locked doors and go all the way around.
2 items already found, I believe, the bug net and a big 20. So we're only down to just one more chest that No Name's probably going to show us that bomb jump on. And hopefully we find a little bit of progression here.
Yeah, it's starting to look a little grim. I mean, he can at the very least pick up the crystal here if he wants to, which he probably will.
So here's that bomb jump we're talking about. A little bit difficult to do because it's really precise. Gets it very simply.
Very nicely done.
There's an exact vertical axis or y-axis pixel that you have to be on in order to land that. And of course it's 1 pixel away from falling, but it paid off because we have ether and we have Turtle Rock access, kind of. We're able to get in, but we can't go anywhere just yet.
Yeah, but really, I mean, I'm kind of stumped. I mean, after this, he'll have to dip in the mire or do some of those Smith's locations in the overworld that you were mentioning earlier. Hammerpeg Cave and the whole, Smith's cycle.
I think with how he's been playing, we'll probably see those checks first before going into mire.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Him making his way through Desert Palace, heading over to Land Molus after getting the big key. That should be a relatively easy kill for him with that Fire Rod and half magic as well. Then No Name entering his Cold Stare fight, gonna opt to do the bombos to knock Cold Stare out, save a little bit of magic for the Fire Rod, since he only has the Master Sword to do damage right now. To Cold Stare itself. Be making very quick work. Clutches out on the last shot too.
Ooh, very nicely done. You still have to be very careful here with green mail. One of these puffs running into you does a whole bunch of damage, but clutching it out with the last fire out shot and getting his crystal. Alright, so I guess, as you said, from what we've seen from him so far, we're probably going to be seeing the blacksmith and hammer pegs and all that stuff now from him.
And just going back to Cold Stare too, this is actually a really great seed for those that have a lot of no major glitches practice, because a lot of these fights are exactly the same. You have the green tunic, you have a kind of similar amount of health as well. So, having that kind of vanilla practice really does pay off for Randomizer, as opposed to just, being able to smartly route through the seed.
Yeah, these NMG situations show up quite a bit, really. I mean, not overly much, but sometimes you just run into a seed like this where if you're a practice NMG runner, as you say, you're like, hey, this all seems very awfully familiar.
Ham finishes his Lamels fight and be rewarded with the map of the dungeon he just completed. So pretty good, vital information there for him.
in case he, wants to come back or show anyone what he did. But more importantly, he grabs his first crystal.
Not much of a progression there, though, from the dungeon itself. He still has Skullwoods and Thieves Town to go into and clear.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't remember a lot of where these items were. I believe the flippers were in Skullwoods, which are still
Yes,
required
that's
to
correct.
get into Swamp. Yeah, I'm kind of forgetting like where a lot of the other items were.
Yeah, we've seen a lot from No Name already, and Ham has been having a little trouble, unfortunately. But at this point, he's pretty far behind, so it's kind of hard to recall everything. Alright, Bow and Hype Cave, which he is getting right now, so that'll open up Eastern Palace at the very least, also. Oh, look at that! We got a vanilla
Right.
tempered sword.
How about that? That's gonna make things a lot easier when you get over to Ganon finally.
Yeah, no, we just hopefully get that Cane of Samaria. If we're getting hookshot, that probably means we gotta go back in the swamp.
Yeah, that's actually very true. If Hookshot does show up right here, no, it doesn't. Wow. So Meyer,
Another wow. Okay, so Meyer's the last place, yeah.
what a kind of a hard seed to deal with. Just having to make these really hard calls on, first we get the Pendant Pod versus Pendant Swamp, and now you got these dungeons that you can't even complete that you're forced to most likely double dip into.
Oh, yeah, and at this point, I'm also thinking that the lamp has to be in Meyer somewhere, right?
That, let me think. Yeah, because the mitts were in Swamp, which is not lamp locked. So if the lamp is in here, then that's one item down. Hopefully the other item is that hook shot.
I think you'd rather see Lamp and Cane of Samaria, but that hookshot, yeah, it's still, it's kind of the wild card of the seed.
Yeah, Canis Mario would be really useful because you can just kind of bank on a hook shot showing up on the way, to Ganon, or just even in Ganon's Tower itself. You know what? Petseed could still be alive.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, technically, the cane could still be on pad.
Yeah, if we find the hook shot in here, Swamp Palace is now finally available to fully clear, and we still have not seen exactly what is on the pedestal yet.
We did get our ether though, so well, and that's been a while since we got that. But with no Cane of Samaria, I think you mentioned this earlier already as well, but can't really do anything in Trail Rock without a cane.
Unless you're just really freaking good at hovering. Yeah, you're kind of locked to just opening it, and that's it.
Well, look at this. Ham is sending up for fake flippers here.
Yeah, I mean, definitely don't need to have the flippers to do Ice Palace if you're able to fake flipper to it. It is obviously a sequence break, and it's not one I'm personally fond of, but there are some situations that demand it. So we'll see if it pays off for Hammond. Oh, he is gonna soft block though.
Oh no.
Oh wait, no, that throws him back to
Okay.
what?
That
should have killed him.
Well, it either should have. Oh, there's the hook shot in Meyer finally. So
There it
apparently,
is.
we are back on. Well, I mean, let's see if we find the cane in here first. But apparently, we might be back on a possible pedestal seed.
Well, he entered the water from, I believe. Okay, I don't know. I could have sworn he did the screen transition from here and then came back in. But still, we got a hook shot. We have one item left in Mire. It's either going to be Canis Maria or, Hook Shot Cave is now open. So it could just be junk.
Yeah, there's a couple new locations open for him now. It seems like, this seed just doesn't want to give him... Oh, man.
This is a very dirty seed with just... I don't think I could route this that well, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the only reason I would have gone into Mire earlier, as I said, was because I don't like to go into Ice Palace without Hookshot. And it surprisingly would have paid off this time, this one single time.
Right. Oh, I think he's actually going over to Pedestal now.
Yeah, you might as well check it before you go in the swamp, because if it's not the Pedestal, you just go and do Hookshot Cave. And probably prepare to immediately do Eternal Rock afterwards.
Alright guys, get your Pedestal emotes ready in chat, because we're about to have a huge moment of truth right now, whether or not that swamp is required, or if we go up the Hookshot Cave. Here we go!
Oh well.
Just rip the Pedestal dream.
Not quite what we were looking for. I mean, the free blue goo is still pretty nice, but is it worth it going to Argus for?
And I would actually prefer not to grab that potion.
You know what I want to see now?
What?
I want to see nothing in Hookshot Cave, and Sahasrara has Arcane.
Oh no. That is still true. Alright, you heard it here, guys. Herfy wants the absolute worst thing to happen to the runners. Meanwhile, I'm hoping it's just the first chest in Hookshot Cave so they can get kind of a fast clear.
I mean, I just want to make it fun. Isn't that what everyone's always looking for? The most cruel thing that could happen to the runners?
You're right.
We shall see.
What if Hookshot Cave gives you 2 tunics, a sword upgrade, and the lamp?
That would be so good.
Him going over to Blind now has a little bit more safety items. Trying to hammer him, actually. You don't need to actually hammer him. It does the same amount of damage. Well, I guess it's not really damage for Blind. It's just 9 hits, regardless of what you use on him.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, we got 3 chests in here. Chest number 1, we got Palms.
Great.
Chest number 2, we got Powder.
Oh, of course. We forgot all about the fetch quest.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, please, Power, give us the shovel. And the shovel gives us the green ruby.
Oh, that's... This is cruel. But No Name's gonna waste no time in getting over there. He knows exactly where he has to go. There's no, decision making at this point. It's just follow the breadcrumbs until you find the item that you need.
Also, you saw it here. No Name is a creeper. Call the guards.
Alright, here's our second moment of truth. What?
What the heck?
So we have to go back into swamp.
Oh man.
We have... I don't know how many more items, but 4 locations.
I was just gonna... Oh man, imagine if it's already bad enough that it's apparently at least in the back of swamp, but if it really is Sahasrara, I officially apologize.
So let's talk about this swamp. People don't like doing swamp at all. But for this seed, we have forced left side swamp and double dip swamp, on top of it being a pendant. So this is literally the worst possible swamp
Yes,
you can get.
but I do want to
And the
mention.
shovel shows up. Oh my god.
Oh man. I do want to mention that Ham finally managed to kill Blind, picking up a second crystal, well deserved.
Yeah, he should be probably heading over to Skull Woods next. Get that kill out of the way. I'm just start making some progression on these crystals.
Yeah, and I
But
think that might be where he's going after checking the bumper cave ledge. We'll see. Hopefully those murderdactyls.
oh, he has gotta be careful. He's almost he's one hit away. He didn't even see the
Oh
item.
god.
Okay, there it is.
Okay, god. Oh, is he getting that? Nope, he's jumping down. Oh, he doesn't have the cape yet.
I feel a little bit bad for him, knowing kind of what he's gonna have to go through.
Mhm.
That No Name is showing us. This is if you're kind of new to Randomizer, this is not a seed that you want to be able to do. This is just kind of your clear everything 100% seed, double dip multiple dungeons that are not even required. It's not very fun.
Yeah, it certainly isn't. Oh, and as I'm seeing it right here, the big chest. Another thing that will be kind of trolly.
Yeah. But if it is, Kana Samaria that shows up here, they don't have to worry about anything. They can just mirror out immediately and go on to Turtle Rock, and probably go to Mire first, and then Turtle Rock.
Yeah, most likely No Name will leave as soon as he finds that cane.
Lamp is still in the logic too, because you technically need it to complete Mire.
Yeah, I'm thinking the lamp has to be here in Swamp.
But if it ends up being Turtle Rock, oh, there we go. Kana Samaria. Looks like he's probably just gonna check this final chest up here. Not sure what for. Maybe just the lamp to make things a little bit easier.
It's a shield, sure, why not? Probably wouldn't mind another mail upgrade of some sort, or a mail upgrade at all at this point.
Right, going into the final part of this game with just Green Tunic, not very pleasant. But, at least we got Go Mode for No Name. He can clear everything else in the seed with what he has. Just looking for a little bit extra safety first before committing to Rock and Mire.
I'm really curious to see how this turns out. But in the end, as you were mentioning earlier, he put in his bio that he hopes the lamp doesn't show up, and it hasn't. So I'd be surprised if he's gonna make any effort to find it. He might open a chest or two there on the way, anyways.
No Name opting for the long range strats to get the silver arrow kill, and bonking a bunch of the rocks. Probably getting a little bit of the frustration out from what he has gone through so far, but it looks like he'll be heading over to Skull Woods now.
Yeah, which we know is a good decision for him. Can make some progress on those crystals, as you were saying. No Name probably gonna be fluting over to the Mire area immediately.
So I don't think we'll find the lamp then, unless it happens to show up in Turtle Rock before that one dark room, which if Ham does not know how to do the dark rooms, that's going to be quite a lot of backtracking.
I'm also quite glad to see No Name go in here, because he only had 8 arrows left, and that's not the amount of arrows you want going into GT and then the Ganon fight.
Yeah,
or
you don't usually look at your arrows pretty late on, so it is pretty common to make that mistake of just having to do armos maybe with less arrows than what you need.
Yeah, plus for Vitreous, he probably wanted those silvers, so completely understandable.
Oh yeah, Silvers makes Vitreous a very trivial fight.
He also already has everything he needs, a big key, small key. He can just go straight to the boss, so this mire will be extremely quick. And then you were mentioning earlier that Turtle Rock Go mode, unfortunately, at best, you can skip a laser bridge if you get that extra key, but if you don't, Turtle Rock Go mode makes basically no difference.
Right. But it is nice to be able to go straight from Turtle Rock to Gannon's Tower, so have that benefit of not having to climb Death Mountain twice just to get back.
Mm-hmm. The absolute ideal last crystal dungeon that you want in a perfect playthrough is Tower of Hera, because you can basically, you go to the Turtle Rock warp, you mirror back to Tower of Hera, you finish up the crystal, and then you go out and you're immediately in front of Ganon's Tower. But that's, so extremely unlikely that you finish Tower of Hera as your last dungeon in a seed. It hardly ever comes into play.
He has to have like a very specific set of just items to show up early on, so that way you can just go straight to that mirror, like you said, in front of GT. No Name doing probably what I think is the hardest dark room, with the exception of Aghanim's Tower. The Mire Dark Room, having to place that block down at a certain spot without much to go off of. Sure, there is a little bit of just visual cues you can use, but it's really tricky to get. So, immense props to him to being able to pull that off as quickly as he did.
Oh yeah, absolutely. These Mire Dark Rooms are no fun. I mean, as you say, the first one probably with the block placement, the trickiest one. There's a couple after that that are not too bad, but it's still not an easy thing to get through here without a lamp.
Yeah, and just being able to navigate these dark rooms, for anyone that's really looking to up their randomizer skills, I would 100%, make an effort to learn these, because, say that he did not know how to do the dark rooms, and maybe Lantern was in Turtle Rock. That's another backtrack that he would have to do, and just adds a lot of unnecessary time. And Silver's there. Just you can see how strong Silver's are against Vitreous, getting that super fast kill.
Yeah, the Silvers just make this boss pretty much trivial if you manage to fire the arrows off quick enough and don't miss any. You almost always zero cycle Vitreous, so he doesn't even shoot a single lightning. He immediately comes out of his little goo there.
Him making his way through the dark room for Eastern, which on the other hand is one of the easiest ones to do. But he's not going to find his bow here, unfortunately. So he's not going to be able to complete Eastern.
Wait, wasn't he in Hype Cave earlier? Isn't that where the bow was?
Did he pick it up? Maybe we just didn't get it on the tracker. I don't know. His routing has been kind of all over the place. So it's been really hard to determine where he's gone and where he hasn't. But yeah, it looks like he did miss it because he just mirrored out.
Yeah, definitely looks like he didn't go into the back of Hype Cave, apparently. Just talked to the NPC. I would definitely remember him doing that.
Or no, he may just not been familiar with doing that second dark room, to be honest. A little bit trickier one, but he did have the fire rod, so he could have opened it up to see exactly what was going on. Okay, so yeah, he was in Hype Cave. And he is continuing in pod, so I'm sure he does have the bow. He doesn't have Silvers yet. Meanwhile, No Name doing his entry to Turtle Rock. Like I said, not going to be too much different from Go mode. There's a few things you can do to kind of make it a little bit slower. Ooh, our good friend, the cursor, is now back on the screen to tell us exactly where the action is at.
Ooh, very nice.
He did set it up, though, that it was pointing at the green tunic when he opened up his menu, so I think there's a good chance that we'll find another tunic in here.
Okay, that's I like that theory. I just noticed before it disappeared that it was perfectly lined up with where the rock texture on the right wall stopped in Turtle Rock, so he must have set that up for, pointing
There
us
has
to
to be
where the
something here.
texture stopped.
No name doing the cane and burn dash right there. Really solid. Not having to worry about using the hook shot to avoid the damage from the rollers, and then opting to also mirror out to not have to worry about going back that same way.
Alright, we're coming up to our good friend, and strangely, Mario references in Zelda. The Chain Chomps going for the cave strats here. I don't blame them. These guys are really annoying, and they hurt a lot in Greenmail, as you just saw.
Right. I'm not entirely sure why they're in the game, along with there's another Mario game, another Mario character in this game. I can't remember.
Yeah, the Pokies.
Yeah. And then go a little bit more off topic. Link's Awakening, the Game Boy game, has Goombas and Boos in it too, so a lot of crossover between Mario and Zelda at this period for Nintendo.
Yeah, it's true. Most of Turtle Rock is kind of a Mario reference. All these pipes.
So if this is a Mario reference, does that mean Trinex is supposed to be like some sort of supposed to be Bowser at all, or someone related to Bowser?
Maybe
He's
some
a
kind
turtle.
of maybe some kind of mutant super Koopa Troopa.
Long lost cousin somewhere, maybe.
Yeah, I feel like because of the combination of a snake with an ice and a fire hat makes it sound like it's something that Bowser came up with in a lab or something.
This is actually just like a ROM hack developed by Bowser, for the Mario universe.
Fan game made by Bowser, fan fiction.
Ham making his way through the right side of Palace of Darkness. Going to be sorely disappointed in not finding anything in here, especially if he ends up not doing the dark rooms as well.
Yeah, we already know, unfortunately, that pot is a little bit of a bust. He also needs to be careful here. No name, opening up the big chest, finds a fire shield. Good on him that he didn't skip it, because might have ended up being short a small key.
Yeah, it could be a little bit scary to skip that big chest, especially if you're in go mode, because you don't know if this chest right here is going to have that small key for you or not. It's the iframes off using the block there.
Nice bonk back.
No Name does not need to go in Mimic Cave because he is somewhat in go. He's in go mode for his being able to do the dark rooms, so there's no reason to spend that extra time to do so.
Yeah, unfortunately, it started going the wrong way, but recovered nicely and made it back to where he wanted to go. Just needs to watch out a little bit. He does have enough health left. These fire bars, even though he's in green mail, still only doing 1 heart of damage. And he has the powder as well, so he can just powder an anti-fair at the end. Or do that.
Yeah, just keep it safe. You know, you got a good amount of potions. Um, so yeah, it looks like they'll just be using the cape instead of doing the laser skips. You got the magic refill coming up shortly anyways.
Mm-hmm. Might as well use what you have, and with half magic, just makes it a lot more convenient.
Oh, he just skipped the chest that I'm sure has the blue mail in it, so I'll never know.
Alright, now
Yeah.
Ham going down here for the dark room. It does have the fire rod.
Yeah, this one's a little, it's not too tricky, but the placement of the chest are a little bit weird where you have to move left to right a little bit to actually be able to open them, even if you're right in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
No name making quick work of Trinex, getting those 5 slashes in really fast.
Yeah, very nicely done.
Nice kill. Got the spin for the double slash on Trinex, followed up with the third and final one before he had much time to go around. Picks up 3 bombs for his efforts, and our final crystal.
Yep, and you guys know what that means.
I'll let you go ahead and kick this off since you already got the command, maybe?
Yeah, it's
Chat.
apparently
It's not
not.
working,
No,
but we
we'll
can still
just...
do it.
Yeah, we can still do it. You guys know the deal. 22 locations where the big key in Ganon's tower can be. Pick a number, post it in chat, guess what your guess will be. Try stopping it first, okay. No, that thing's broken. I'm not sure if it might only work on SG1. Well, either way. I see that you guessed a 5. Is that the number that you usually guess?
Yeah, I found a lot that the big key shows up in the chest number for whatever race of the day it is. Like, so the first day we had the first race be the first chest, then the second race was the second chest, and kind of so on for a couple of them. So I don't know what number this is, so I'm kind of thinking maybe 5 would work out.
Yeah, sounds good.
We'll see. We're already up to 3 locations finished.
Yep, we are going left side as well here. No going right side first.
The future reviews to change.
Very nice.
Oh man, just the or a map for me. Ooh, I like it. Using ether to clear out those salvos right there.
Yeah, very quick to use, and they just explode into a puff of smoke anyway, so no annoying animation to watch. And yeah, it looks like Ham is powering through that dark maze, having no fear. There we go, number 8.
No, not too far off, but I'm sure they're very happy to, or No Name is very happy to see that early big key without having to go too deep in.
You know, the funny thing is, usually I pick number 8, but if I say that now, it's just gonna sound really stupid.
I mean, you could probably watch the VOD afterwards and just put in 8 like you were here during the race live itself.
Just cheat my way in it. Yeah, sure. That sounds like something I'd do.
Give me those speed gaming points, which may or may not exist.
Alright, getting through these mimic rooms here.
And looks like I think he'll be heading over to Skull Woods now to clear that out. Still hasn't got the flippers from there yet. So that will open up a lot more locations for him to go to, specifically Swamp Palace.
Yeah, he really... Yeah, that's basically where he needs to go. Eating a bunch of apples on his way there. Kind of look like tomatoes. And Noname really not having much issue with GT Ascent here, making it through all these gauntlet rooms pretty quickly.
Yeah, Gauntlet can be a bit trolly with just the different ways these enemies move around, but for the most part, they're mostly cooperating with him.
And he's still in green mail, which, you know, that means everything does at least 2 hearts of damage to you, very much.
It's the double, but unfortunately does not get the fire rod shots to follow up with that. Alright, we are very close to getting the flippers on Ham's side. All he has to do is get through this room. Gonna use the fire rod to take out those Gibdos so that way they don't give him any issues. All we have left is our favorite friend, the Wall Master, that didn't act very kindly towards No Name when he was doing this.
Oh my god, the Wall Master. We definitely have to ask No Name about that Wall Master later.
So how should we form that question? We'll think about it. We have a little bit of time.
Yeah, there's still a little bit of time left, thankfully.
No Name entering the final part of Ganon's Tower, going to be going up to Moldorm. Moldorm 2 and then followed by Agnum, but once we get over to like Ganon, that will be a pretty fast kill given the silvers and the temper sword.
Yeah, I shouldn't have too many problems with him, unless he, you know, runs into Ganon or the fire bats a bunch of times. Ganon in green mail is absolutely no joke.
No Name doesn't look like he's going to be checking any more chests. I thought maybe he might look for just a tunic, just to be on the safe side, but he's just powering through right now.
Yep, and Ham finally managed to pick up his flippers. Oh boy.
He got a shovel.
Yep, that's probably where one of those mails is.
Alright, No Name, you have to go back before Ganon.
Yes, you must.
We need to know what that shovel leads to. Alright, No Name entering his Agnum 2 fight. See how many cycles he gets. Kind of a... Okay, I thought that was a weird pattern, but apparently for No Name, that's one of the best ones because he just got 3 off that first one.
Yeah, that was a very nice start. Looked a little bit weird how they line up like that, but the way your spins reflect those balls, it was just perfect.
Really clean Agnum.
Yeah, very nicely done. He's probably gonna miss this up too, but just barely, and considering what kind of runaround that seed gave him, still an extremely respectable time.
Yeah, kind of given just what they've had to go through this seed, you know, the the left side pendant swamp that required a double dip, just item locations being bottlenecked by one item. You know, it's kind of, I mean, you look at the time, it's not really reflective of how player skill if you don't know how the seed went. So still, despite it most likely being just over 2 hours, he played extremely well. Routed extremely well too, get just for everything that the seed threw at him.
Oh, and gets a perfect Ganon position up here in the right corner. Can just keep spinning him to make it through phase 2, no problem at all. All the teleports.
Did you find the arrows in Dark World? We sure did.
Absolutely did.
It's that torch glitch.
Yep, wonderful. Oh, barely misses Ganon here because he gets clipped by that fire bat.
Alright, should you get the 2 right here? Yes, there it is.
Very nicely done by No Name. Look at that, almost up to not even a minute over it.
GG to No Name being the winner of quite an extraordinary seed with a time of 2 hours and 50 seconds. So
Yep.
Congrats to him.
GG to him, congrats on his win. 2 hours, 50 seconds by his timer. This seed, yeah, definitely something special. That's absolutely right. Well, Ham here is soldiering on, making his trip back to Mothula, who he just died to. Definitely not an easy fight with the Master Sword and Fire Rod and Mail.
Looks like we do have No Name already in the Discord, so if we're ready, I'll go ahead and drag him up and we'll confront him
sure.
about the Wall Masters.
Okay, sounds good.
Welcome, No Name, and congrats on the win.
Hi. What were those misplacements?
Exactly. The left side, Pendant Swamp, double dip. That was. How can you get any worse than that?
Triple dip.
I mean,
Oh yeah, that's it.
How could you not enjoy that scene?
That is bad because Hammer gates a lot of the game as well. Honestly, after I found Samaria, I kind of was like, oh, okay, I can go beat the game now. It autopiloted through Swamp and realized when the green pendant dropped, wait, I didn't need to do that.
We thought maybe you were looking for just a blue mail to be on the safe side, but you're right there. But
Nah, I just spaced. Like the waterfall chest, I definitely did grab because I was like, hey, if it's Lamp, I get a faster Mire in Turtle Rock.
Right.
Like, why not? It could pay off. Argus wouldn't, but I've spaced.
But we did see in your bio how skilled you are at those dark rooms, so we kind of figured you'd be okay without it.
Yeah, I've put a decent bit of practice into them. I got burned bad by not knowing them last tourney. Had a seed where Dark Mire and Dark Aghanim would have saved like 20 minutes.
Yeah, that usually does it.
But so I went. I've learned them all. I can do them all. I've even done Dark Aga 1 without Fire Rod, without medallions on 7 hearts before. So I'm pretty confident in my Dark Rooms.
Yeah, it's
so we have
paid off. Oh, go ahead.
We have to ask, what is your favorite enemy in this game?
Yeah, let me add to that question. You finished according to your personal timer on stream. We sadly can't see the official SRTV time, but according to your official time, you finished barely 50 seconds above the 2-hour mark.
Yep.
And
oh no, I put that out of my mind.
We sure didn't.
I feel like I redeemed myself with that Mothula fight.
You did. I mean, the Mothula fight was absolutely beautiful. But that Wall Master, man.
I've never had anything like that happen before. I honestly, I don't know. I did laugh at a Vanilla Tempered Sword immediately followed by Vanilla Empty Bottle, though.
Oh, that was pretty great too.
Like the seed had a sense of humor. And unfortunately, it didn't carry over into you must dip Swamp for Mitts to go to Mire for Hookshot to go to Swamp for Samaria.
Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous at the end there.
I don't know. I think it could have got a lot better if you picked up the blue bloomerang.
I had the red one. Why would I need the blue one?
The blue one
Because
is
it's the
clearly
better
superior.
Yeah.
The red one has longer range.
Ugh.
He doesn't know.
Yeah,
I know
it's
it
okay.
lags
One
more,
day you'll
but the
learn.
range is good in some situations.
one day you will join our side.
But still, your routing was definitely on point. I liked a lot of just deciding to knock out overworld locations early on. Or is that just because of the logic kind of favoring overworld, or is that just your own personal preference?
Mostly personal preference, but I figured that I should hit overworld on the way to dungeons. Funny thing, I was actually considering a swamp dip before I did pod. I was actually going there to do it, and then I realized that I hadn't yet checked the pyramid. And then while I was doing pod, I realized, wait, I haven't checked Hobo or Hylia Island yet. So that kind of tipped it in favor of putting off swamp until it was the last location. But I had a gut feeling.
It's a kind of a hard gamble between the two of them, because while both of them were open at about the same time, you were still kind of missing one item as far as the logic goes to actually be able to complete them. The lamp for pod and then hookshot for swamp. So it's kind of a tough call as far as what the logic actually wants you to do. That's really just comes down to yeah, logic
Swamp
just wanted
Mire,
to troll you
Swamp
guys.
Mire. I will say I liked that pod layout. There was a lot of meta knowledge you could do with that.
Yeah, you do have your standard route through it. Even for randomizer, it's almost the same, but being able to kind of quickly switch up, what you do in there depending on what you find. It's a cool little skill to have.
Yeah, as soon as I did the dark basement, so I checked maybe not even half the locations. I knew where the remaining 3 small keys were and where every remaining item was.
Yeah, and given how big pod is too, that kind of stuff really helps kind of shave down your time as well. So something I can't do. So maybe I'll have to go back and watch this.
4 keys
kind of
in the
learn from
front,
that.
because I found map and compass. Then there were 4 keys left. So that meant the other 2 on the vanilla big key and the basement one both had to be small keys.
Typical
Which meant
pod.
I could not go out of my way for those, and that meant there were 2 in the back. So as soon as I found only 1 in the dark basement, because there can't be any in the dark maze due to quirks of the key placement algorithm, then I knew that Harmless Hellway was also a small key. So I could just beeline my way straight to the items.
That's cool. Yeah, I'll actually have to watch that again, kind of see that in practice, because that's something I can work on.
Incidentally, that's why I put off left side Mire when I did, because there was nothing to be gained from key knowledge there. Also, that was the fastest escape I'd ever done, ever.
Yeah, that was I know it was sub 6 minutes. The fire rod really helps just kind of go through it fast, and then finding the bomb too, as well, without having to do too much work for it, really does help.
Yeah. I started with boots and only 40 bonks. I'll take it.
Yeah, that's pretty good for getting boots right away.
I felt like I played pretty well.
You definitely did. Like, of course, kind of messing around about the whole Wallmaster thing, but as far as just how the entire seed went,
like, let's just forget
execution was
about
on
that
point.
part. And aside from that, I played pretty well.
Yeah. But yeah, your execution was on point. Especially for green mail, the entire seed. Routing was really great too. Just given how the seed forced you to go through it. So you definitely put on a great show.
Plan for the worst, hope for the best.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to approach Randomizer.
Also, because I'm curious exactly which location has a lamp of the 2 it can be, I'm going to hit set and go find it.
Yes, we were actually thinking that, Meyer was going to have that lamp along with
I had already had both items out of
Hookshot.
mine. So,
Well, I mean, when you first went into it, I mean,
okay.
um, because there was not a lot of locations that it could be in there.
Yeah, it's either Sahasrahla or Argus. Or, sorry, Big Chest of Swamp. But yeah, I don't like being
And
without the hookshot as long as the seed had me go without the hookshot. I use it so often for getting around.
yeah, it's not a very fun
Wow,
go
that is
mode item.
rude. It's Swamp.
Oh, did you just turn in the green pendant?
Yeah, for 10
And it
arrows.
was, oh, so the big chest and swamp had, wow, that's disgusting.
Pendant Swamp was loaded.
It really was, and that's not ever something you want to see during a race.
I mean, it had Cape, Lamp, Mitts, and Samaria. Well, assuming we all haven't forgotten a location.
Right. I don't think there was. You did one nice benefit to doing all the overworld locations, since we don't really have a map tracker, is just knowing that all the progression was hiding in dungeons. And so it kind of helped us predict what's going to be showing up. I'm heading over to Swamp too, so he's going to be finding his mitts and all the stuff he needs to get the seed, rolling.
I feel bad for him. This is a nasty one to start out on.
Yeah, but I mean, if you get through a seed like this, I mean, this is probably one of the worst things that could probably happen, with the exception of like Kane being on pedestal, which we thought for a minute was going to happen.
Oh, I was fully expecting to see I make blocks to hold down switches.
Yeah.
At which point I would have still been able to just go for it. I knew Lamp couldn't be there because Pendant Pod, even though I had it.
Right, of course.
But I figured, I might as well check it, because the knowledge of knowing whether I definitely need to beat Argus and get to ignore the chests, or I can just ignore Argus.
Yeah, sometimes just the knowledge of what you need to do is great. Like, we were talking about the whole going up to Dark Death Mountain for the first time, just the knowledge of knowing what Turok required, and being able to possibly go mode other stuff is pretty huge. All right, we're going to see this right now on stream. It's a map.
I don't know where the lamp is. I'm glad I know how to dark room.
Could it
really
be in the
confusing.
cave?
It could be,
Mimic Cave. It could be
my.
Mimic Cave. Yeah, that's even worse.
Wow. So if you play the seed by the rules, I'm sorry.
Like you'd have to. Wow.
Just the implications of that.
I mean, I thought it was rude when it was in Swamp, but this is just worse.
There is the shovel. Wait, no, it can't.
Shovel
No,
was-
shovel. It
yeah.
wouldn't work. It wouldn't work.
Shovel was the last chest, which was, of course, the seed showing its sense of humor again.
Right. All right. So as No Name does 100% the seed, Ham making his way through Swamp Palace, and we'll be very excited to find the things he does. Oh, I can't wait to see what pops up on the stream. It has to be good.
I mean, where could it be at this point? There's not that much left.
Tunics, mirror shield, butter sword. Wow. Well, forget finding any tunics this seed, because
Yeah, I guess it could have been. They have to be again in the tower or the last chest on the laser bridge.
right.
They cannot be anywhere else. Wow.
Welcome to Randomizer, everybody.
Rude.
Yeah, Yeah, this seed is super rude, and we were kind of empathize, or yeah, I cannot say this word. Saying just how important it is to know how to do rooms for seeds exactly like this, because just the implications of having to go through, all the way up to Mimic Cave to find a lamp, and then
And then
go
go
back and
back
do
and still
Mire.
have to do Mire, and then also clear Eastern Palace too.
Yeah, definitely one of those skills that 100% would recommend anyone to pick up because they're going to help quite a lot.
And honestly, from experience, none of the dark rooms are as bad as you would think they are. They all have little things you can do, like a fire rod makes going through the pod dark rooms pretty easy. If you know the block toss and mire, then that's pretty easy.
Yeah, the only kind of hard one to do is, like I said, that the Mire block. I actually use that diagonal in the top left of the room to line myself up with it. But I mean, it's still kind of a tricky one to do, but once you get it down, you're gonna do it every single time pretty easily.
Yeah, I know that method, but I also made sure to learn the block toss just in case I get hit by a fireball and don't know exactly where I am, so I can definitely get it. Because failing that can be so bad.
Yeah, you're kind of like in panic mode, like, oh no, where am I?
You get
I'm getting
lost,
hit
you
constantly.
start flailing the Samaria block everywhere, it never hits the switch, you push it around, you step on the switch and lose track of everything. I'm speaking from experience here.
Ham making his way up to the left side of swamp, gonna find those mitts finally. 2 hours and 16 minutes in, but that opens up the seed so much.
And yet the path is still so linear.
Right.
Yeah.
This is just kind of like how fast can you get everything, finished, as opposed to smart routing. Like who would ever go into the seed and think, okay, I'm gonna go to left side swamp without hookshot immediately?
Yeah. And then I'm gonna dip uncompletable mire immediately. And then I'm gonna go back to Pendant Swamp because there's no way that they'd put more progression there, right?
I hope this doesn't deter him a bit, though. Like I said, obviously this is one of the hardest seeds you can probably get, and one that doesn't really reward smart routing either. But most other seeds you get are not going to be that bad compared to this.
I'd say the one nice thing this seed has is that health was pretty prevalent, bottles were easily available, and decent amount of money everywhere too. So.
And the early boots was really, and flute too. That was really nice.
No safeties, but
Gave you the
having
access
lower
to
sword level for as long as you do, and then still finding no mail upgrades until literally the end of the game if you full clear. That can't be nice.
All right, he's gonna grab his mitts, and then he should be quickly on his way to start clearing out stuff. He still does need the ether at the backside, or in Ice Palace to get into Mire. So hopefully he goes.
Why do I feel
Ice
like that
Palace
just
first.
makes the logic even worse?
I think Mire did make sense, or sorry, Ice Palace made more sense to do, just because even if you can't, you can full clear Ice Palace even if you have to do the entirety of it.
Yes, but by
hookshot.
the logic, it probably expected you to get ether and then go to Mire and double dip ice.
Oh yeah,
because
because of the hookshot jump.
Right, because I just did
Forgot
that.
about that. Yeah, that's a little bit of a more difficult one to do, especially if you haven't run into it. You probably have not practiced it very much.
Yeah. This seed just really, if you play it completely by the logic, it is extremely, I don't even know what to call it, mean, tricky.
Sadistic.
Yeah, that's probably a good word for it.
Yeah, this is rando for you at its worst. There's obviously you can kind of route things smartly depending on what you get. going to locations with more item density, but this one was more just like we're gonna put stuff in the absolute worst locations, and you're gonna find it at the very end of the seed. Hookshot is not required for Mire logic if you have the boots, because you can bonk over the pit. So Ice Palace, grab the Ether to Mire to grab Hookshot, back to Ice Palace, finish that, and then over the Swamp Palace to get the Canis Maria after you found Mitts in there already, back to Mire. But then again, actually you have to go to Turtle Rock first to get the... Someone needs to write down like a flow chart for this seed, because it's too much for me.
I mean, the early game wasn't too bad. It was just the Mitts bottleneck, and then... yeah.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing, just the Mitts stopping you from being able to complete a lot of stuff.
And usually, if Mitts bottleneck like that, they are pretty much the last thing you find, and then you're pretty much just good to go at that point. The seeds don't usually string you along after holding out the Mitts like that.
Right. Hookshot being one of the last items to find is not that great either, because it's something that usually shows up pretty early. That way you can do Swamp, do Ice Palace, and do Mire. But the seed was just like, nope, we're gonna make you go through everything. Yeah, I'm taking the death to Spike Cave, but did pick up the item there, so at least doesn't have to worry about going back in there. What he needs to do right now is head over the ice, find the Ether, head over the Mire, find the Hookshot, head back to ice, finish ice, go into Swamp, get the Canis Maria, go up to Turtle Rock, I guess, and get the lamp. Oh man,
And then clean up.
And then just clean. Oh man, this is. Well, hopefully it is. It is for sure the last location, right? Mimic Cave.
I mean, I can go double check that.
Yeah, I don't really. I mean, you can if you want to. I just don't really know where else it could be at that point.
Yeah. But we
I
thought
didn't know
that
if you had a
about the
map
Swamp
picker
Palace
up or
Big
not.
Fest, though. I always forget Mimic Cave can actually have lamp.
No lamp.
The worst thing
I
that
like
you
it.
could do, though, Mimic Cave lamp could even theoretically be your first fire source.
So, Nona, do you have any opponents you're wishing or hoping for your next matchup? Or maybe a better question with how many we have. Do you have any opponents you hope you don't get?
I'd like a good race. So somebody who's not going to blow me out of the water, and preferably someone I don't blow out of the water either.
Mm-hmm.
So you're
I
saying
feel
you
like
want
that's-
Andy next round?
That's always more fun if it's a good race.
Yeah, of course.
Like, playing the game's fun, though. Like, even if I get just destroyed, even if it goes the other way, like it did here, it doesn't matter. As long as the seed isn't too evil. And this one could have been, but Dark Rims paid off. And Bomb Jumps paid off.
Yeah, they absolutely did this time around for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see, the next round. Obviously with the huge number of entrants, and the tournament format being Swiss, there is a bit of a mismatch and a lot of races between two runners. But as we get into like the second and third weeks, that's when we really get to see those lot closer runs, especially for people that are going to be like 2-0 and 3-0.
It's always going to be
And,
some good matches in every round, though.
Right. There were a couple of good matches pulled on Sunday for this week. I haven't watched too many of them yet, but as we get further and further in, most matches will be pretty close in skill. All right, and No Name slowly making his way over to Mimic Cave. We're gonna find out shortly on the restream if the seed is really as bad as it was making it out to be.
Yeah, though I think if it's not in Mimic Cave, that will be even more worrying.
Yeah, then we're gonna have a talk with Vitorb at that point. What do you mean that you had to do exploration glitch to find, a lantern in this logic? Yeah, I'm going into his hookshot cave. A good place to go to. If you have the boots, also gives you that knowledge of what the Dark Word, the Tor Rock entry is, and there it is.
Oh, what a surprise!
Lamp in Mimic Cave. Wow, just wow.
That
Oh
is
my
about as
God.
late as the lamp can possibly be.
Yeah, it's imagine not knowing Dark World stuff and having Lamp being like one of your final items for Go mode. That's truly, really awful.
Yeah. Do you happen to catch what the preferred early and late items were for this match in the commentary sheet?
In the what?
In the commentary sheet,
Preferred item. I
like the
think we
items
were.
that you want to see early or you don't want to see early.
Oh, in the bio. Let me pull that up.
Yeah.
I know that I wanted to see Fire Rod, so I was happy to see that.
Yeah, I think we talked about that, didn't we? Because you wrote that you didn't want to see the lamp because of your prowess in the darkroom navigation.
Yep.
Oh yeah, you're right. We did talk about that.
Yeah.
That's kind of how
And
we knew that you would
And
have
he
any issues
put
with
that
it.
he did not want the lamp late because darkroom advantage.
Kind of funny that both
Yeah,
of you.
this is kind of almost a nightmare seed in that regard.
But he is still pushing through it. So
Yeah.
despite just kind of the mismatch in skill, like Ham's doing a great job going through this.
And it is not
It's
always
hard.
easy to keep that motivation up when the other person's already finished. And
Right.
there's no end in sight. So massive props for that.
Plus, putting himself on a stream too, in front of other people to watch and such. That it's not always easy. So, huge props to him for sticking out with it. Probably won't see the full rest of the seed, but we'll definitely go as long as we can since there are other races today that are going to be happening.
Yeah, unfortunately, we do have a maximum of 3 hours for each match scheduled because we have so many of them. We don't want to take any time away from others. But the next thing coming up here on Speed Gaming 4 isn't until 6, so I'm not sure if we can, but maybe we can give Ham a host at the 3-hour mark when we have to sign off here. So you guys can just either watch from here or, of course, go to his channel and check him out and watch him finish his run and cheer him on.
Right. And, we still have plenty of rando every single day. Like, I keep saying this, but, given how many people we have in this tournament, we have 7 weeks of 256 matches, most of them being restreamed. So we have like 12 hours of rando at least every single day going on. So there's constantly races to watch, new people to see. 100% would recommend checking out the other speed gaming channels and the ALTTP randomizer channels if you haven't already done so.
Yep, absolutely. And there's also the schedule link in the chat where you can check out where and what else is going on for the randomizer tournament alone. There's, of course, also the speed gaming general schedule. Randomizer, even though we're kind of flooding the schedule, is not the only thing going on here.
So it is just about 5 p.m. We do have another race happening on speed gaming, just speed gaming by itself, in about 10 minutes. So if you wanted to see a new race start up, that's going to be pretty early on. And then after that, we have 4 races, 3 of them that are being restreamed an hour from now. Definitely check out the schedule. A lot of rando actually happening tonight of all times. There's about 20 races or so between 5 Eastern and 11 Eastern. So get your fill in today.
Yeah, there's going to be plenty of rando going around. And as we were saying earlier, if you enjoyed what you saw from both I Have No Name and nhammen here, please make sure to give these guys a follow. And I want to give another shout out to our tracker, RJ, keeping track of all the items, still keeping track for Ham. And of course, a big shout out to my co-commentator, JTB. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, same to you, Hervey. You're one of the people I did want to commentate with at some point, so I'm glad I got to be able to do that today.
Oh, thank you. That is that honors me to hear that. I'm glad it was enjoyable.
Hope you all enjoyed it as well. Didn't cringe too much at some of the things going on, but I think it went well.
Yeah, absolutely. Big props to nhammen here for letting himself be restreamed in front of a bunch of people watching him on, I'm not sure exactly when, but, not too practiced with Rando yet. We'll definitely see him improve. Alright, so if you want to see the conclusion of this, make sure to switch over to nhammen's channel and cheer him on there. I'm sure he'd appreciate everyone showing up there. And I hope you enjoyed it, and that's going to be it from us so far then. Have a good night.
Yeah, thanks guys. Hope you all have a good rest of your Thursday, and we'll see you for the next race.